welcome to Wake Up with Dr. Cheryl, Wealth Transformation. I'd like to start with something funny. Men writing the rules. If men were to rewrite the rules, rule number 1, anything we said 6 or 8 months ago is inadmissible in an argument. All comments become null and void after 7 days. Rule number 2, if we say something that can be interpreted in 2 ways, and one of the ways makes you sad or angry, we meant the other way. Rule number 3, it is in neither your best interest nor ours to make us take those stupid magazine quizzes together. Rule number 4, you can either ask us to do something or tell us how you want it done, not both. Rule number 5, whenever possible, please say whatever you have to say during commercials or timeouts. Rule number 6, Christopher Columbus didn't need directions, and neither do we. Rule number 7, when you're turning the wheel and the car is nosing on to the ramp, you saying, "This is our exit," is not necessary. Our show's mission is to wake up your consciousness and healing in your relationship with wealth and currency and apply unconditional love. So you understand what I mean by unconditional love. It is the absence of being too judgmental and criticizing and setting healthy boundaries with others, which means for yourself. Women, please wake up to exercising your masculine side of your being. Men, please wake up to exercising your feminine side of your being. By waking up to these soulful qualities, it takes pressure off the men to be the sole breadwinners and share the responsibilities to have a healthier and happier, longer life. And by waking up to the feminine side in men, it takes the pressure off of women to feel that men can have a deeper understanding of women and be more supportive. It's a two-way street. It's the half of the circle, the yin and the yang. It's the balance of the male and female equation. Wake up to this equation. Your mind plus your heart plus your body equals your spiritual wholeness. Wake up to putting your loving relationships and applying unconditional love first in your life. Wake up to knowing that the universe provides more than enough love, money, food for everything in your life. Forgive yourself and anybody else for any bad experiences with money you have had. This is to free you for your unlimited abundance. You must realize this awareness from your unconscious mind and your heart so it becomes a habit in everything you think and do, and then breathe. Wake up to stopping any and all negative thoughts. When they come into your mind, just let them go so they don't go into your heart. There is more than enough money on this planet for everyone to be multimillionaires, if that's what you want. It all starts in your mind, heart, and then actions. Wake up to trusting your higher self. Our guest this evening is Reverend Andrew Bozeman. This is the first segment of a 2-part discussion with Andrew. In the 1970s, Reverend Andrew Bozeman, was an award-winning advertising copywriter and producer for such clients as McDonald's, Budweiser Beer, and Coca-Cola. In the 1980s, he was introduced to PCs, taught himself programming, and became a consultant. In the 1990s, he became the project director of technology training for the city and county of San Francisco, where he was responsible for overseeing the technology training for the city's 30,000 employees. Now, at the age 70, he looks forward with excitement to a new phase of high activity in his life. He was ordained as a minister in 1982. In 1990, he became a senior minister of the Church of Amron in San Francisco, a metaphysical ministry which promoted the principle that all religions are true that when practiced in their purity. He left the church in 2001 and retired from the city to take his ministry to the streets. He then founded the Southeast Sector Community Development Corporation, It's SESCDC, a nonprofit corporation in San Francisco's Bayview Hunters Point, where he is a community activist working on behalf of an economically depressed and environmentally exploited minority citizens and raising the awareness of New Thought spiritual teachings. In 2009, he founded Bozeman Development Group, a for-profit company to augment his nonprofit and dedicated to merging spiritual empowerment with economic development. Bozeman Development Group is an African-American publishing and multimedia production company dedicated to the spiritual, psychological, and economic elevation of more than 40 million African Americans living in the United States of America. His objective is to create and market products designed to support African Americans in eliminating the negative effects of racism, elevating self-esteem, generating entrepreneurial endeavors, rebuilding African American communities, building and promoting African American commercial centers to revitalize the African American economy and improving their quality of life. Welcome, Andrew. Thank you so much for coming and being our guest
Thank you.
this afternoon. And I've given your wonderful introduction and telling the viewers who you are and what you've been doing for your life, long passion and purpose. And I think it was probably, I'm guessing, maybe 10 plus years ago when I first met you through the Science of Mind Church.
Yeah.
I'm guessing on that.
Makes,
But welcome.
It was around 2001.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. But thank you for being here, and I'd love for you to share where you're from and how you got here, basically.
Okay. I'm originally from Chicago, and there, as you stated in the introduction, I got in advertising and was a copywriter, producer, won some awards, and eventually got tired of advertising because of the craziness of the business. And I found that I was getting really good at stabbing people in the back, which really conflicted me.
Oh, wow.
Because that was how I got ahead.
So you lived that life for a time being.
Oh yeah, I lived it fully.
And you weren't really, I guess you weren't a minister then?
No, no, I was super ambitious and very aggressive, very energetic, and so the higher I rose in the business, the more I found it was politics that made it for me rather than my talent as a writer and producer.
Yeah.
And it also was giving me an ulcer.
Uh-oh.
So I left there and went to Hollywood. I'd written a couple of screenplays, thought I was going to produce a couple of films, be a director, you know, all that. As it turned out, my timing was awful. That was, at a 1977, 78, where Hollywood made a decision they were no longer going to back black films with black cast.
Oh my.
And so
that was in the 70s?
Yeah, that was the late 70s.
Wow, wow.
And so the whole African American community in Hollywood just died.
Oh, wow.
And nobody could figure out what was going on. It wasn't until later that we found out that there was a decision.
It was a racial thing then, do you think? Do you think it was racial?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to be very open about talking about this because this is, especially with the anniversary of I Have a Dream.
Yes,
you know,
right.
with Martin Luther King. In fact, some of my quotes are from him today in this show, and in honoring his honorable being and the change that he made and the sacrifice of his life.
Yes. Yeah, it was something.
Yeah.
So anyway, I went bankrupt and ended up living on the beach for a while, on Venice Beach.
Oh.
So I got my homeless experience.
Okay, so you've been there. You know what that feels like.
Oh, yeah.
To have you're penniless and you're trying to figure out where your next meal is going to come.
Exactly. That was something.
Oh, humbling, isn't it?
For sure. And then I ended up during my time in Hollywood, when I was trying to get financing and to produce my films, I made a trip to San Francisco to talk to some potential backers. I'd never been here, and I was totally amazed by the city. I remember standing on a streetcar platform on Market Street and just being in awe.
Mm-hmm.
Nowhere,
Well,
nowhere to go particularly, just suck it all in.
yeah, and really there's no place like San Francisco anywhere that,
No.
I mean, I've traveled the world, but not everywhere, of course, but you know, there's nothing like San Francisco.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
So after I did my beach stint, I decided that San Francisco was the place I wanted to go.
Oh,
And so I came up here.
and when was that about?
That was
approximately?
1980.
Oh, okay, okay.
And that's when PCs, within a couple of years, PCs hit the market,
Right,
personal computer.
right.
And I was doing temp work for Transamerica, and they asked me if I knew anything about computers, and I said no, but I can learn. So they gave me a computer and said, well, learn this.
Here you go. Well, sometimes that's the better way to do it.
Yeah.
Harder way sometimes, but yeah.
So I taught myself the program, and from there I became a management consultant and technology consultant,
Yeah.
and ended up finally as the project director for technical training for the city of San Francisco.
Yes, that was interesting. I mean, I noticed in your bio there you said 30,000 employees. That's huge to be
Yeah.
able to get. So you really have been from one extreme to the other. Do you think that when you went through the experience of being on the beach,
Mm-hmm.
that it was a transformation spiritually for you? Do you think that was an impetus?
Yeah, it was. Well, I've always grown up feeling that that the angels were protecting me, and there were times throughout my life as a child and through school when I could actually feel their presence and hear them whispering to me.
Mhm.
And so when I was on the beach, I knew that it was something I needed to go through and something that I needed to learn. I spent a lot of time talking to the ocean, and the ocean and I had some great conversations.
Which in essence is because
Is-
God's in
is God,
everything.
yes,
It's
yeah.
God.
And so I guess the final turning point was I realized there were some things I needed to forgive. There were some things I needed to clear out, some anger I needed to get rid of. And so there was a lot of that going on. And I guess it finally happened that one night when it seemed all was lost, I'd lost everything. I had lost my wallet, my bags, everything. There was
wow.
nothing left.
Yeah, wow.
And I was sitting there on the beach in the middle of the night crying, and all of a sudden I felt this warm energy just wrap me up and protect me for the rest of the night.
Wow.
And I knew then
Yes.
that a transition had happened and something. And the next day, this guy came along who, with food and shelter,
Oh,
and
see?
picked me up and
Yeah.
went on from there.
Boy.
So yeah, it was.
Doesn't that really truly anchor your belief in spiritual awakening and spiritual presence? I mean,
Oh, it anchors it. Yes,
it just anchors it.
it anchors it definitely.
Yes.
So yes, you know that is the truth, and
And-
no matter what anybody says, they can't take that away from
Oh
you.
no,
It-
I
it-
understand. I wasn't on the beach, but I do know what it feels like to be penniless. I've been there myself, and
Yeah.
that's what gave me the impetus to get this show going and get this message out, because anybody and everybody can have and deserve abundance. Everybody does, no matter where they come from.
Exactly.
So getting back to San Francisco, when you became a minister in '82.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you were on your way. You were on your way.
Yes. Because when I got here in '80, I knew that there was something that I was supposed to be doing, and I ended up finding this this church on Union Street called Amaron, and it was a metaphysical church. They were studying. they were studying a variety of things. Their philosophy was that all religions are true if practiced in their purity. So they were taking us through Buddhism
Yes,
and
learning all the best, like science of mind, sort
yeah,
of, it's like believing in all of the best from all the religions.
exactly.
That's what I love.
Exactly. And so that was exciting for me,
Yes.
and I ended up going through mystery school and becoming ordained and working my way up through the ranks and finally becoming senior minister. So yeah, that was really mind-boggling. But within me there was always this need to communicate with African Americans. That I felt there was a disconnect, and it was important for me to somehow get the message across. And I guess it was very frustrating at that time because most of the 90% of our congregation was white. Um, and so I was always trying to figure out, how do I make the connection? How do I make contact?
Yeah.
Then I ended up in Marin, of all places. But I ended up in Marin because it's such an open place. There was a point at which I was trying to decide whether I should move to the East Bay or to Marin.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to like to go walk on trails. And in
There's
the East,
plenty in this
yeah,
place in Marin.
but in Contra Costa, I had the experience of walking on the trails and meeting people on the trail and being totally ignored. It was like I was invisible.
Oh.
Whereas in Marin, I'd walk on the trail and everybody would say, "Hello, how are you?"
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, Marin is the place.
Yeah, right.
So that's how I ended up here.
Oh, wow. You, to me, are a wonderful example that so many people, doesn't matter what color you are, can use as an example.
Thank you.
Because of what you've come from and where you've come through, what you've come through. And you basically chose that too on an unconscious level to be where you are. And, bless you, applaud you. And the work you're doing now, I think is wonderful. And so I would love to expand on that and share how you think this is going to help change. I mean, in the last 5 years or so, we've all been going through some challenge financially because of what, and I think this is a moral wake-up call,
Yes.
An integrity wake-up call, for our whole planet's people. And that's
agree.
why I started this show and writing my book as well. Because we all need to wake up, and especially the ones that are in powerful places around money, because it isn't all about, life is not just about money, and we are in a very materialistic society.
It's amazing how.
And wake up. That's what I say, is wake up, because that's not what it's all about. And there's, really, if people would realize that there's more than enough money for circulating on this planet for everybody to be multimillionaires. Yeah. Everybody.
More than enough.
Yeah, so there's more than enough. There's always more than enough. So it's the mental and the emotional and the spiritual approach.
Which is what I'm working on now. It's with I've got two companies. One is the Southeast Sector Community Development Corporation out in Bayview. And originally when I went out there and opened the corporation, it was to bring this a wide open teaching, but the people were being so exploited and abused that I found myself fighting a lot.
Oh,
so
explain what you mean by that. I'm trying to.
Well,
understand.
it was a matter of that area was being used. That's where they've installed the sewage treatment plant. That's where PG&E had a power plant, was the oldest in the state, and was spewing the most pollution. That's where the Hunters Point shipyard was, and they found there was all this radioactive residue and chemicals all in the ground.
Yeah.
And so it's a Superfund site. That's where they were not keeping up the public housing because the motivation was to get the people to leave. So every time a house.
So are you saying that the majority of the population were black?
Yeah, they were
African American.
They were at that time, but
Okay.
the African American population is dwindling out there now because they're leaving to the joy
for healthy reasons, right?
I mean, yeah, the health is it's the highest rate of cancer even among young girls.
Wow.
19 high rates of asthma because of the pollution in the air, and the highest rate of unemployment. So I ended up doing a lot of battling with government over the years, going to all kinds of meetings, speaking for the community, my partner and I. And now, finally, after all these years, some things are beginning to happen. The Public Utilities Commission has agreed to help us fund a business assistance center for training entrepreneurs on the ins and outs of getting government contracts and what they need to do in order to do that. And
so it's also to benefit them?
Yeah. Well, it's to benefit the community in that if they get contracts, then they're able to employ the people within the community. Okay.
And that's a good thing?
Yeah, that's a very good thing.
Yes.
And some of the prime contractors have agreed to do tutoring, the big multi-million-dollar companies who will be sending in people to help us conduct the classes, and because I don't know how to get a contract.
Yeah, right. Well, you find the right people to do it.
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
I mean, yeah, you're just the spearhead to get that. That's wonderful.
So yeah, that's finally happened. It's taken a long time, a lot of beating your head against the wall, but it finally is happening. And in the meantime, I've started the Bozeman Development Corporation group, which is set up. The mission, our mission is to help transform the African American community from a symbol of poverty, frustration, and pain to centers of prosperity, pride, and power.
Yes.
And so it's seeking to do mental work by bringing in things like forgiveness.
Yeah, that's
because
huge.
There's so much anger based upon so much mistreatment that the anger is draining the energy. And what needs to happen is the understanding of what forgiveness is, which is...
Do you think that I know that anger issue goes beyond color, but since we're talking about this, and I'm very compassionate about this, because, if they could understand, do you think if they truly understood that they forgive and let go of that anger, that they would be free to be who they're supposed to be and be wealthy in all areas of their life?
Oh, well, that's what we're teaching now. That's why I've aligned with the Worldwide Forgiveness Alliance.
Yes, and that's a wonderful. Yes, that's how, when I saw you there, that's how we reconnected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And teaching, and I have a blog called the Pathfinder Chronicles, and one of the things that I advocate within my blog is forgiveness.
Yes.
We've got to. Forgiveness being let go. Let's let go of this. Turn our backs on whatever has happened in the past, because if we let go of that, then we reconnect, we recollect our energy and pull it out of the past, pull it out of those things, so that we are able to take hold of it as a people and redirect it, because there's so much power there.
Oh, it's
so much
negative.
Powerful energy.
Yeah.
And so directing it in a positive way has got to change the world.
And how do you think that's going to happen?
It's going to happen through. It's already happening, actually. It's going to happen through education. It's going to happen through, especially young people, beginning to understand that there's no need for the anger. So. Like the controversy over this recent Cheerios commercial, which showed an interracial couple. Mm-hmm. Okay, they got a lot of negative feedback. What they found,
I
though,
can't
was,
believe that.
was all the negative feedback was coming from older people.
Yeah, right. They're stuck and haven't let go.
And when
Yeah.
when they were interviewing young people, they didn't understand what the problem was.
Yeah, I mean, because it is what it is today.
Yeah.
It's accepted all over the world. So it's like, wake up. But yeah, so the studies, did that show that any particular culture that was negative, or just older people in general?
Older people in general.
Yeah. They haven't let go of their prejudices and their
Exactly.
anger and blah, 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 blah.
So my target audience is basically anybody born after 1960.
Yeah.
Because they seem to be more open to change.
Yes.
And so and I'm not the only one out there doing it. What's so wonderful, I find, is that there are a number of people out there who are preaching the same thing, teaching the same thing, all over the country. So there's this.
You have your alliances.
Yeah, there's this underground movement.
That's good.
That's going on to bring peace and forgiveness, and understand that we all are one.
Yes. Yes.
And that is the empowering aspect of it, is that once you begin to understand that we all are one, and that the only way for us to move forward is together.
And you know, this is what I talk about, but I think, and please give me some feedback on this, I think the most important thing is to have that unconditional love within yourself. Because when you have that true unconditional love, which means stopping judgment, stopping criticizing, the criticism, when you have that for yourself, then you can have it for others.
Yes.
So it starts within yourself, your own heart, your own mind, and your body. I'll leave you with this. Never give up on your pursuit of your purpose and passion. And even if you don't know what that is, work with integrity and have a positive attitude. Wherever you are, work, and especially with your family and friends. Be grateful for what you have, who you are, and where you have come from. And be grateful for your freedom, and eat healthy. Good nutrition feeds the mind and your body temple. And don't forget, keep moving your body by working out. Feed your spirituality with meditation and prayer, with unconditional love. And firstly, love yourself unconditionally, and share your abundance and wealth with others. Thanks for watching. Please support Marin TV that brings these messages. Remember, when fear knocks, let faith answer the door. We have a big favor to ask of you, all of you viewers from Marin County. Can you please contact me to let me know who you are and what city you live in Marin County as a viewer? This is really important for the survival of our shows and our TV station. I will give you my email and my email address and phone number at the bottom of the screen and in the credits at the end of the show to reach me and to let me know. Thank you so much in advance for your efforts and cooperation. Bye for now. Until next time.